And I am back from my holiday. I just took 1 week off. And as much as I like a bit of off time, I'm always happy to be back in the studio as well. So yeah, I'm just getting accustomed yet again to the work and stuff, because I really took a week off. Like, I barely checked my email. Like I literally did nothing. So just getting accustomed and starting up slowly on the first day after a holiday. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah. One of the things I've been thinking about during my holiday is my role in doing things in my business. And the conclusion is that I think I am doing too much. With that, I mean that I'm doing mixing, mastering, making videos, editing those videos, creating the thumbnails, but also things like designing my website, making sure all the technicalities behind it work. I do the maintenance of my studio. And of course, one of the things I'm doing is I'm making a lot of decisions. And there are a lot of things that I need to continue doing. However, there are also a lot of things that I can delegate. And Delegating isn't that easy. It isn't that simple of like just saying like, hey, can you do this for me? Delegating tasks involves a lot of stuff. First of all, your instructions need to be very, very clear. And when delegating something, you don't want to get into the role of somebody that's just busy the whole day on making decisions. So if I would delegate something, I wanted to delegate to someone that's not afraid to make decisions and someone that really understands what I'm trying to do. And I have experience with this because I am working with a few people on a fixed basis. I do have an accountant that does all the taxes and stuff. And I do have 2 assistants that do my email, my planning, and they're soon going to do a little bit of the bookkeeping and financial stuff as well. And I'm still seeing that I'm answering, most of all for the assistants, I'm answering a lot of their questions. Like most of the times I'm getting questions of like, hey, is this product interesting? If we're getting a review request. And I'm going to think of ways of creating instructions to make it easier for them to make those decisions. And also I'm going to really need some extra help in here. I just know that on the long term I cannot keep doing everything myself. And I also know that I am not very good at the things that I'm doing. I'm very autodidactic, so that means that I can easily teach things myself as long as I'm interested in it. But for instance, on web design, if somebody studied web design for years and has 10 years of experience in web design, of course that person is going to be better than I am in web design. And same goes with video editing. I like doing video editing, but whenever I have somebody else edit a video, it's just way better. And even with thumbnails, there is one thumbnail on my channel that has been made by a so-called thumbnail artist. And weirdly enough, that was one of the best performing videos in terms of click-through rate and all those kind of thumbnail related things. So someone else can definitely do a better job at certain things than I can. However, there's also a certain downside to it. And that is one of my rules for my company is that everybody that works for YT Studio gets paid in one way or another. Basically everybody that ever worked for me did indeed choose to get money. I mean, you could also exchange for services or whatever, but nobody works for free for me. That's a very important ground rule for me. And of course, getting a website designed or tweaked or whatever is a one-time cost, but hiring a video editor, for instance, and I have been talking with one already, the costs add up pretty quickly. So that's an annoying spot to be in. I don't know yet how I'm going to solve that. I'm basically going to need to search for new extra ways of generating revenue with the YouTube channel in order to hire other people so they can do what they are passionate about for me. Yeah. And one of the struggles that weird brain of me has with something like this, something like, increasing revenue in order to create a better channel, is I don't want to come across as somebody that just does it for the money. Like, the money part is of course an important part of every business, but I don't want to come across like that. And the more I would push things that would generate revenue, the more it seems like that. And this is a personal struggle. I don't want to look like somebody that does it for the money. But on the other side, I'm also not making a secret out of it that money needs to be made. So, and I think this is yet again one of those misunderstanding and misalignment things between me and the audience, where the audience could really see things as, hey, he just wants to make more money, while in the meantime, I'm actually working on creating some room for myself, creating some space for myself, and using that money not to invest in a BMW. I'm still driving a pink Suzuki, which I actually love. I love that car. It's perfect car for me. But I'm using that money to invest in the channel, and in the meantime also having other people that are very passionate about their job, just as I am very passionate about what I am doing, being able to do that job and make money with that job. Because in the end, the clients, for those people, and also for me, are the enablers. And for me, the YouTube channel, the viewers are the enablers to do this job. But yeah, then again, I'm struggling a lot with this. Leave a comment down below with what you think. Maybe I shouldn't overthink this too much. Maybe I should just go for it. Anyway, because I'm back from holiday, I've gone through almost my whole inventory of videos. So I need to shoot a few ones today. And the cool thing is that there are still a few on my list that I didn't film. There are a few plugins that have been released that I didn't have the time to film yet before my holiday. I'm going to pick up on those. I have 2 on the list right now, but I saw 2 more this morning. Could be that I'm filming 4 videos today. As always, you never know which ones are going to make it to the channel. We only know that after the edit. I do think that my holiday really recharged me, and that's of course logical. That's why people take holidays. That's also why I take holidays. But I think it really recharged me for the video making process, because I think I made some very cool videos and also made them a little bit different. Let's see if you all can notice the difference. I'm actually going for a bit more tacky and sharp, quick feel for these videos, because I've just noticed that the audience retention is like 30% or something, which is way too low, which just means that the videos are boring and not speedy enough. So we'll see if this works. Always experiment, always experiment. And yeah, as said, I will be editing these videos myself. So during my holiday, a few jobs came in. I think I need to, let's see, mastering, stem mastering, and mastering. So 3 jobs to do. And I'm going to start with checking one of the mastering jobs, because I didn't check that one yet. And then I'll do the stem mastering first. Yeah. Let's see. The new mastering job is a neoclassical instrumental song that primarily features a recorded solo piano implemented by atmospheric elements such as pads. These jobs are super cool to do because it's really about, I would say, cleanliness and precision in those type of jobs. Like if you compare a solo piano atmospheric song with, for instance, band work, where there is like a whole rock band, for instance. For a rock band, it matters more to get it a bit more gritty and a bit less precise, maybe a bit more vibe. While this job is really about cleanliness, and it's just such a different way of thinking, which pulls me out of my comfort zone. I think what I just want to say is I like the variety of songs and jobs that I'm working on. I really like that. Like it's you can learn something in every single genre, which you can apply in a different genre. But first, the stem mastering. So I'm as far as I can be with that stem mastering job. Let me mute speakers and bounce this with the tree shortcut that I stole from Pro Tools. What I'm doing is I'm bouncing the instrumental. Because I cannot work with the vocals right now, because I think that there is something not right with the vocals. The vocals have been auto-tuned, and I think there is a setting mistake in the auto-tune on the client side. Like I've got a file that is delivered with auto-tune on it. So I'm going to email the client asking like, hey, what's going on here? Just to make sure, because if I'm going to process this all and then I need to replace a file, that's bad. And even worse is if I wouldn't notice it, the client thinks it's all right for whatever reason. And later on, when it's on Spotify, people will start to complain like, hey, there's something wrong here. We don't want that. So it's always good to talk about that. Let me quickly run you through the settings. It's a pretty basic band. However, the stem mastering, and this is in, of course, compliance with my client. This is actually the 10th song that I'm doing for him. I'm doing a little bit more than stem mastering. So it's a bit in between mixing and stem mastering. That's also what he pays for, because he pays a little bit more for that. And most of all, this is about the drums, I think. The drums is really what I'm treating more than I would normally do. So I've got the drums over here, basically kick and snare. It's a programmed band, so it's not that there's a drum kit. So you have a kick and snare, some cymbals, and there, in this song there's even an 808. It's a really interesting song. I cannot show it because of copyright, but this is my kick setting. As you can see, I'm boosting some highs and some mid. It's a really nice ticky mid that is in here. That's really nice for this song. Oh, that shadow looks really weird. Yeah. The snare is over here. Again, a lot of mid, some top highs, and some bottom, of course, to really get some power in there, and even some low bottom. It's like a very explosive snare, which is all rooted to the subgroups and stuff. And I'm processing them with the SSL compressors. I actually tried these. You could see that in the time lapse maybe, but these ones work a lot better on it. Not using the transient designer, it's in bypass. So we got the toms over here, just a little bit of EQ on the toms, nothing special. We've got the lead guitar for the verses. Got it over here, which is a very distorted guitar, which I'm trying to, EQ some live into it. And then we've got our chorus instruments. We've got a chorus backup and a chorus lead, which is both synthesizers that I'm EQing over here. And I didn't use a lot of inserts from the analog equipment, and that is mainly because it's a stem mastering. It most all needs EQ. Also, there is a lot of compression on these stems already, so adding more is not always the option. What I did do, however, and what was really needed, is I added on the bass guitar, which is all EQ'd in the racks over there. Like there's a lot more EQ going on over there. But what I did do to the bass guitar is add the character. A funny trick that I have is it's a mono bass. It's a distorted mono bass. So I'm adding a bit of distortion, but I'm turbo boosting on the right channel and not on the left channel. Mixing it a little bit, of course. And of course I've gained it so that it sounds, again, in the center. And what that does is it creates some stereo width on that bass guitar, just a little bit, and it really needs it because this is a very crowded production. So just that little bit of distorted width that I can create with that is really, really nice. So yeah, I'm going to put this project unfortunately on hold. I really need to check with the client what is going on. There could be multiple outcomes for this. There could be that I'm going to do the tuning, or that he's going to change the settings of the auto tune or change the tuning. I don't know if he manually tuned it or automatically, but I gotta check it. It seems as if there's an automatic tuning on there that is set chromatically instead of to the key of the song. I mean, it's going okay because the vocalist is already very much on the tone because it catches the correct tone. But whenever he's changing, like sliding or something, it grabs the wrong note, in my opinion. I don't think that's the thing he wants. Anyway, let's master the piano song. So funny thing about this production with that piano is that the notes to the engineer that you can fill in on my website actually request me to not be very traditional when it comes to classic acoustic recordings. They actually want me to be a bit more experimental and they actually want a bit more color. So what I did is I tried a few things and I settled with the tube boost from the Tube EQ. I'm not doing a lot on here, just a bit of cutting, a bit of boosting, but that tube boost does something. I'm going slow on the dictator. Actually it says fast, but it's slow enough. Low comp. And then on the Wes Audio, I enabled the output transformers and I'm driving them, well, quite a lot. It is of course gain dependent, a little bit of compression, some output transformers, and that really gives it a little bit of a, a bit more original sound compared to other productions. I'm going to store this one away, listen to that one again tomorrow or the day after tomorrow as a double check, and then I'll send it to the client. I know they're not in a rush, so nobody should be in a rush, never. Rush is not okay. But also being lazy is also not okay. So the answer is somewhere in between. All right, so I'm done. Not necessarily because the work is done, but because the time is done. It's not showing the time. The time is done. And I'm going to continue next week. Thanks a lot for watching.